I've been with Reverend Sharpton now since 1998. When I've started with him, people were like hanging up in my face. Nobody knew. They knew who he was because he certainly predated. He's New York history. He's been an activist and
Civil rights history.
for a long time. But what I did was help to shift a bit of the trajectory to be a little more mainstream, and we started to move into a new sort of position, whereas now a lot of people know who National Action Network is,
Yeah.
but it wasn't always the case. And in my tenure with him, we have done the most historic civil rights cases in this generation. Whether it was Trayvon Martin, whether it was Sean Bell, whether it was Amadou Diallo, whether it was Abner Louima, the list goes on and on and on. I've been the one behind the scenes that has had to amplify the tragedies of many of our plights. And then I also get to amplify things that are historic in a great way too, and so I've learned from those two greats. Johnny was an amazing human. When he came to New York, he had just won the OJ case. He had a show on Court TV called The Cochran Files. And he needed to be integrated. He's not from New York. He wanted to be sort of integrated into the New York lifestyle, try to understand who's who and what's what. And we just set it off. We had a very symbiotic relationship. We had a really great friendship, and he was such a good man. Rev Al is big bro. He's my confidant. He and I speak every single day for the last 28 years at the break of dawn to have our war room strategy, put together the plan of what we want to tackle, what needs to be amplified, whom can we help. A lot of it is about helping. How can we help our people? And so that's sort of the common thread in what I do. And even at this, now very, very high profile entity that I'm helping to run, I still look at things through that same lens. Whether it's me working with FIFA and the World Cup, the question in my mind is, how can those tickets be affordable to our people? How can we have engagement in our outer boroughs?
Yep.
And so I always find that way to make it about us.
See, the only problem I'm having right now is that I have too many questions in my mind to ask, and I'm trying to figure out how to position things because there's so much to speak on. But I want to hone in on this for 1 second because on the aspect of helping people, because y'all have been involved with so many um distrust and things that were made against us as Black people. Like you said, you named some of them. And how is it that you're able to focus on doing what you need to do amongst the tragedy of the work that's involved in it?
We often get very, very close to the the people that have been victimized.
Yeah.
And so I think that makes us fight harder because we really know to this day, literally today, Corey Wise, he was a part of the Exonerated Five, used to be the Central Park Five.
Yeah.
That man is at National Action Network every single Saturday to this day. Gwen Carr, Eric Garner's mother, is at National Action Network every single Saturday. And this is years after we helped. And let me be perfectly 100 with you. Reverend Sharpton and Nan do not take a dollar from these lawsuits, not a penny. There's this disinformation that has spread for years that somehow, we're getting paid. No, nobody is getting paid at all when we take on these cases. The payment is justice and being able to turn demonstration into legislation, finding a way to make sure that somehow these issues get to the forefront so that we can have change in the law, change in humanity, change in the way we think, whatever the change may be. Change and action are sort of the common threads in what I've done with Rev Al over the years.